What if everything you thought you knew about women was a carefully woven illusion? What if the smile you took as love, the laughter you thought was joy, the softness you believed was surrender was none of these things at all? What if every moment you felt certain, every gesture you trusted was only a mask? Here's the great question. If the woman in front of you wears a mask so convincing that even she forgets it, can you ever truly say you know her? Or are you only chasing shadows, mistaking performance for truth? This is the forbidden knowledge most men will never see. And yet, once you glimpse it, once you see the truth that Machiavelli himself warned centuries ago, you can never go back to blindness. You can never again be ruled in the same way. Because the man who sees the mask is never fooled by the play. He stands above it, untouchable, immune to the strings most men don't even realize are tied to their hands and feet. Every woman wears a mask. That is not an insult. It is not cruelty. It is survival. Since the beginning of history, men held the raw strength of muscle and power. In a world where brute force decided fate, women could not win with strength alone. So, they adapted. They learned to wield something sharper, subtler, more dangerous than fists. They learned the art of appearances. The mask. When she speaks, her words are not always her true thoughts. When she smiles, it is not always because she feels joy. When she laughs, it may not be because you are funny at all. Every action may carry another meaning. What you see is often not what is. Think about it. How many times have you watched her agree with something she clearly did not believe, just to keep the peace? How many times have you noticed her soften her tone? Not because her heart was soft, but because she knew men relaxed when they heard softness. How many times has she smiled at a man she did not respect, not because she admired him, but because she knew that smile would keep her safe? This is not weakness. It is not clumsy dishonesty. It is strategy. The mask is both shield and sword. A shield to protect her from judgment, rejection, or danger, and a sword to influence, confuse, and lead men exactly where she wants them without them ever realizing. But here lies the danger. The mask is not one single face. It changes. It adapts. At times, it is the mask of innocence, eyes wide and gentle, whispering silently, "I would never hurt you." At times, it is the mask of admiration, the gaze that says, "You are the strongest man I have ever known." At times, it is the mask of sorrow, tears slipping down her cheeks, calling out to your protector instinct, begging you to step in as her savior. And if you believe these masks as truth, if you accept them at face value, you are already trapped. You will react to them, bend for them, dance inside the story she has written. And the moment you do, she owns you. Machiavelli warned, appearances can never be trusted. They are always performances. And when it comes to women, that performance is sharper, subtler, and stronger than most men can imagine. That is why so many men collapse without knowing why. They believe they are choosing freely, when in truth they are only reacting to a performance, a signal, a carefully placed mask. But here's the paradox. The mask is not always false. Sometimes even she forgets she is wearing it. Sometimes she convinces herself of its truth. Sometimes her performance is so convincing that she believes her own act. But whether she knows it or not, the mask gives her power. And the forbidden truth is this. If you mistake the mask for reality, you will chase illusions all your life and never touch the real person behind them. Most men never see through it. They fall for the soft smile, the playful laugh, the lowered eyes. They melt at the gentle voice. They believe it is love, innocence, devotion. But the man who sees the mask for what it is, he is the one she cannot rule. Because when you see the performance, you stop reacting to it. You stop chasing shadows. You start observing. And that changes everything. For the first time, she no longer directs the game. You do. No. Let us ask the deeper question. What is it that women truly desire? Most men are raised to believe women only want love, comfort, and safety. Movies repeat this story. Songs repeat it. Books repeat it. Even women themselves repeat it. But history, nature, and Machiavelli's sharp eye reveal a darker truth. Desire does not come from safety. Desire is born from danger. Safety may calm her. Comfort may make her feel secure. Stability may give her peace. But peace does not make her pulse quicken. Comfort does not make her lose sleep thinking of you. Safety is what she settles for when she has no choice to desire. Desire only rises when she feels a man she cannot fully control. She may tell you she wants a nice guy, a man who always listens, always agrees, always gives her constant attention. And yes, she may want him as a provider, as a helper, as a shoulder to lean on. But desire does not burn for him. Desire betrays her eyes. They will always follow the man who refuses to kneel, the man who does not explain himself endlessly, the man who could walk away at any moment and actually would. This man creates tension, and tension is the fire of attraction. Why? Because her nature is drawn to strength, not just the strength of the body, but the strength of the mind. The strength to resist her charms, the strength to remain calm when she tests him, the strength to hold his ground when she tries to shake it. Danger is not cruelty. Danger is not violence. Danger is the silent signal that says, I cannot be owned. And that message makes her curious, restless, alive in ways safety never can. Look back at history. Kings, warriors, leaders. They were not safe men. They were unpredictable, unshakable, sometimes even ruthless. And yet, women risked everything to be near them. It's not because these men gave comfort, but because they stirred something deeper. Desire for the untamed. And here lies the forbidden truth. Women may choose safety, but they do not crave it. Safety gives her rest. Danger awakens her spirit. Safety calms her. Danger makes her heart race. That is why the man who kneels, who gives too much, who tries endlessly to be safe, disappears in her eyes. She may thank him, she may use him, but she will never chase him. And this brings us to the law of tests. Every woman will test you, not once, not twice, but always. It is not an accident. It is not random. It is her nature. She tests you because she must know who you really are. When comfort is gone, she must see if the man before her is solid or just another weak man pretending to be strong. And these tests come in many forms. She may ignore your message just to see if you start begging. She may tease you, hoping to watch you break. She may create an argument just to see if you lose control of your emotions. At times, she may even say things she doesn't believe, only to measure your reaction. Why does she do this? Because words mean little to her. She has heard promises before. She has seen men talk about strength, loyalty, and love and then collapse the moment they were tested. She does not trust what you say. She trusts only what you show. And the test is the fastest way to see the truth. If you fail, if you bend too quickly, if you explain endlessly, if you chase her approval like a lost child, she may still remain by your side, but something inside her changes. Respect begins to slip away. And once respect is gone, desire soon dies with it. But if you pass, not by fighting, not by shouting, not by proving yourself, but by staying calm, silent, and unshaken, something inside her shifts. Respect grows, attraction deepens, because now she sees something rare, a man who cannot be moved like all the others. And here lies another forbidden truth. Her attraction is tied to your resistance. It's the moment you lose control, the moment you break your frame, she sees weakness. And weakness, no matter how she explains it, kills desire. Understand this clearly. Her test is not there to destroy you. It is there to measure you. Just as fire tests gold, her test reveals if you are real or only pretending. Most men take these tests personally. They get angry. They argue. They accuse her of being unfair. But the man who understands smiles inside because he sees it for what it is, the law of nature. When you stand calm, when you do not explain yourself, when silence speaks louder than words, she feels it. She feels that you are not desperate, that you are not afraid of losing her, that you are whole with or without her. And that is what makes her want you more. Not gifts, not endless effort, but the strength you show when tested. Machiavelli would remind you, power is proven not in peace, but in challenge. And with women, the challenge never ends. If you can master this, if you can keep your frame firm when the test comes, you become the man she cannot break and the man she cannot forget.
Let me ask you another question. If every mask hides the truth, if every test measures your strength, What happens when you stop reacting? When you stop giving endlessly? When you step back and create space? Most men never find out because they are terrified of absence. They think if they are not constantly present, constantly giving, constantly chasing, she will forget them. But here lies one of the harshest forbidden truths. Distance is not weakness. Distance is power. Most men lose their value without even realizing it. They smother women with constant attention. They call too often. They send message after message. They cancel their own plans just to be available. They believe this is loyalty. This is love. This is how they prove themselves. But the reality is darker. The more you give, the less it is worth. Human nature works in strange ways. We do not crave what we already have in abundance. We crave what feels rare, what feels just out of reach. When something is always available, its value falls to zero. And this truth does not apply only to women. It applies to everything. Gold has value because it is scarce. Art has value because it cannot be copied endlessly. Power has value because not everyone can hold it. And desire, to desire, is born from tension, not abundance. The gap between what she wants and what she is not sure she can keep is the very spark that fuels her imagination. When you are always available, she may feel safe, but she will not feel desire. Comfort soothes her, yes, but comfort never keeps her awake at night, heart restless, mind racing. Think of fire. A flame cannot survive if you smother it with too much fuel or too much air. It needs balance. Too much of one thing and the fire dies. Desire is the same. Too much presence suffocates it. The right absence makes it burn brighter. That is why Machiavelli understood the man who knows how to withhold himself, who knows how to step back, who knows how to let distance speak louder than words. This man commands desire without chasing it. But here's the irony. Women will never admit this. They will tell you they want constant attention. They will demand your messages, your presence, your availability. And yet, when you give it endlessly, when you pour yourself into her without end, her desire fades. Not because she is cruel, not because she is ungrateful, but because her instincts know that what is always there becomes invisible. And once it is invisible, it loses value. The wise man understands this. He does not play childish games. He does not disappear 4 weeks out of spite. Instead, he builds a life so full, so strong, that he cannot give himself to her constantly. His work, his purpose, his discipline, his friends, his dreams all demand his time. And because he cannot always be there, when he is, his presence carries weight. His attention feels rare. His silence creates curiosity. His absence creates hunger. When you are silent, she wonders where you are. When you are absent, she feels your presence even more. When you step back, her mind runs forward to search for you. Most men are terrified of this. They think distance will make her forget. But the truth is the opposite. Distance makes her remember. She cannot chase the man who is always in her hands. But she will always chase the man she cannot fully hold. And now we reach the fear she cannot escape. Most men believe a woman's greatest fear is being unloved. But that is not the truth. Her deepest fear is not the absence of love. It is the absence of being seen. Love is everywhere. She can always find someone to love her, someone to admire her, someone to desire her. But to be sent to have a man's full attention locked on her, as if she is the only person in the room, that is rare. That is what she craves. And because she craves it, she fears losing it. Being ignored by a man she does not care about means nothing. But being ignored by the man she cannot control means everything. That wound cuts deeper than rejection. It shakes her power. It makes her question her worth, though she will never admit it aloud. When you take away your attention, when you refuse to be dragged into her storms, when you do not react to every emotion she throws at you, she feels powerless. Because her strongest weapon, her emotions, suddenly has no effect. And in that silence, the rules shift. She becomes the one who chases. Most men fall for her storms. They rush in when she cries. They argue when she provokes. They explain when she accuses without knowing it. They hand her control. But the man who remains calm, who stays silent, who stands unshaken, he terrifies her. Because in that silence, she feels invisible. And invisibility is her deepest fear. When you cannot be moved, when her chaos does not shake you, when her storms dissolve against your stillness, she realizes her power has no grip. And the more she struggles to regain it, the more she invests in you. Understand this. Your attention is her oxygen. Without it, her control begins to collapse. This is not cruelty. This is balance. Most men drown women in endless attention until it loses its meaning. But the man who gives it sparingly, who guards it with strength, makes it priceless. His silence is louder than every other man's words. His absence weighs more than another man's constant presence. And in that balance, she feels something she cannot control. Desire. Now let us pull back the curtain even further. There is a game women hope men never see. Because if men ever understood it, the balance of power between the sexes would shift forever. Women would lose their sharpest weapon. And the game is this. Much of her behavior is not random. It is not simply emotion. It is not purely natural. It is strategy. A careful performance designed to keep you uncertain, unsteady, and always chasing. Why wouldn't she use it? Mystery is her most powerful tool. When you cannot see what she truly feels, you fill the silence with your imagination. You convince yourself she is softer than she is, purer, more loyal, more devoted. You take her smile as proof of love, her laugh as proof of joy, her gentleness as proof of surrender. But often, it is only a mask. And if you ever saw behind it, if you ever realize that silence is a weapon, that pulling back attention is a strategy, that storms are often only tests the spell would break, the endless chasing would stop, the begging for affection would end. That is why this knowledge is forbidden. That is why they hope you never see it. Because the moment you see the game loses its power. The mask is revealed. The performance collapses. You are no longer the man who bends. You are the man who watches calmly, silently, unshaken. And that is the man she cannot control.
But there is one final law, the law that makes a man untouchable. Every man seeks love. Every man seeks loyalty. But most men lose both because they break this law. They give too much too fast. No boundaries, with no mystery, with no unpredictability. And when you give everything, you end up with nothing. Predictability kills desire. Think carefully. When she knows exactly what you will do, when she can predict your every move, when she knows that no matter what she does, you will always forgive, always explain, always stay, she loses interest. You are safe, yes, but safety is not attraction. Safety is not desire. Desire lives only in uncertainty. That is why you must become the man who cannot be fully read. Not by lying, not by pretending, but by living a life so deep, so strong, that your emotions, your mind, your spirit are not hers to command. A man with mystery. A man who keeps his silence. A man whose strength does not crumble when tested. Be kind, but never weak. Weakness is kindness used against you. Be present, but never desperate. Desperation is presence without self-respect. Show love, but never lose yourself. Love that erases your identity is not love. At all it is slavery. The man who follows this law becomes untouchable. He does not crumble when tested. He does not beg when ignored. He does not break when storms come. And yet he is not cruel, not bitter, not cold. He is firm, but gentle. He is strong, but loving. He is present, but unshaken. This is the highest form of power. Not control over her, but control over yourself. Because the man who rules himself cannot be ruled by anyone else. Women do not want a man who hates them. They want a man who cannot be bent. A man who can love with depth, but but still stand like stone when storms rise. And that is why the man who follows this law creates something rare: respect, desire, memory. He becomes unforgettable, not because he is perfect, but because he is unshakable. And now you know. The forbidden psychology. The masks, the tests, the mystery, the silence, the law of unpredictability. Most men will stay blind. They will chase illusions. They will kneel and break themselves for nothing, but not you. If you are still here, if you have listened to every word, it means you see what others cannot. And that already sets you apart. The moment you see the game no longer controls you. The moment you stop kneeling, you become the man who cannot be broken. The man Machiavelli would have called untouchable.